Hey, this is yours truly again, and it's time for the last two remaining Rhubarb Chris games, which I'm doing a post-game report on them, obviously. Alright, let's start it off. Rhubarb Chris had obviously a doubleheader last Saturday. The games were at 4:30 and 6:30 against Yoggers, Mullets, and Bulldogs. We're going to start off with the game against the Yoggers Mullets, and prior to that game, Yoggers Mullets won the last meeting 5-2, which was a poor performance by the coach and frustration that led to penalties and whatnot. That was pretty much the doing of that game. So let's start off with the first period. In the first period, their Yoggers Mullets goalie was not there, so they had to put on the stuff, and it took them a while, so and it put them past the 7-minute mark, so Rhubarb Chris took a 1-0 lead because of that. But it was a kind of a slow start for Rhubarb Chris, as Yoggers Mullets would tie it as Rory McDonald, their leading scorer, would blow one past the glove hand of the coach to make it 1-1. Cale McBride would get it back on the power play to make it 2-1, but then Rory McDonald would blow another one glove side past the coach, and then would score another to make it 3-2 to end the period. So as the period was over, it's Rory McDonald 3, Rhubarb Chris 2. In the second period, Rhubarb Chris would tie the game as Tyler Grove and Cale McBride were doing their little passing plays once again, and eventually Grover would finish it to tie the game, and then yours truly would make about 4 straight saves on one sequence, and then and yeah, Grover and McBride were doing their passing plays again, and once again Grover would finish it. That would make it 4-3 Rhubarb. And then Corey Balkin would take a pass from Drew Cheeks Martin and would score to make it 5-3. And then, oh my goodness, yes, you guys are going to hear this correctly. Ross Cook, who got advice from Bobby Ryan on how to end a goalless drought, which Bobby Ryan just said, just go for the easy, go for the gritty goals, you know what I'm saying? So Ross Cook with his half stick tape, which, basically it's not the full stick tape, you just split the two, you split the tape in half and you tape it up like that, It seemed to pay off, as well as Ross Cook would just, he'd just fire it on net and just found a way to go in there. I believe that would make it 6-3, but then Rory McDonald would catch the coach pulling a Dominic Hasek and flopping around, and then he'd do a wraparound to make it, 6-4 or something like that? I don't know, I believe. But then once again the passing plays by Tyler Grove and Cale McBride would click, and once again Grover would complete the natural hat trick, because it is in one period, That'd make it 7-4. And in the third period, Cale McBride would net in 2. So once again, him and Tyler Grove would just we're just on fire or whatnot. And Rhubarb Chris would win that game 9-4, and for the first time ever, Rhubarb Chris finished off the season with a winning record. So we're gonna do the 3 stars of that game, and actually we're gonna Ross Cook's been asking for this for a while. Give him a 4th star for a 4th line hustle or something like that. So here you go, Ross. 4th star for you. uh, and the 3rd star is gonna go to Drew Cheeks Martin. The 2nd star goes to Tyler Grove, and the 1st star goes to Cale McBride. Alright, so we go on to the next game, which is against the Bulldogs. And the last time we played the Bulldogs, the coach was on fire, made a rolling Dominic Hasek save, and to keep the score at 3-2 at the time, and then Rhubarb just catch fire, net in 2 more and win 5-2. Alright. This was a game that was sort of a seesaw battle. Tyler Grove would open the scoring to make it 1-0. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, but Kirk Linklater would tie it. As he'd fire the first shot, which I made the first save, but he'd get the rebound. Then a beauty passing play once again between Grover and McBride, and they catch Cameron Vensforth swimming out of his net to make it 2-1. And then Corey Balkin would then catch fire, as he'd receive some passes from Tyler Grove, who Grover and McBride were doing a recycle game, you know. That'd make it 3-1, and then once again Balkin again would do the same thing or whatever to make it 4-1. Now in the second period, short-handed nonetheless, the Bulldogs would make it 4-2, as Kirk Linklater would walk in front and score to make it 4-2, and then a power play would occur, which Tom Cates fired a shot. I made the first save, but I can't remember his name. Heath Ekiel, I think his name. I don't know. Pretty hard to say his name. Later, he'd get the rebound to make it 4-3. But just remember this, folks. Yeah, like just remember this, folks. Okay. Mike Johnson would get away with an interference call, and Corey Balkin would feed Cale McBride, who would score to make it to make it 5-3. But then the Bulldogs would get that one right back, as once again that Heath Ekiel dude, like, what happened was the shot missed. The shot went over the net, came back in front. I had lost sight of the ball, and he just tapped it in to make it 5-4. And now we go on to the third period, and wow. Oh jeez, I'm gonna love this. Tom Cates tries his usual slap shot from his own zone to fool me, and Ross Cook pulls the Pavel Datsyuk pickpocket on Tom Cates and walks in and goes in and scores. I love it. Wow. Jeez, that's great. But then the Bulldogs would get it back, as Adrian Garden's shot was stopped, but Kyle Merritt would get the rebound to make it 6-5. And remember when I told you that Mike Johnson got away with interference? Well, this might be the reason why this is why I told you to remember this. This is a bit of controversy, but yours truly came out to play the ball and got run over by Kirk Linklater, and then eventually, as I tried to get back in the net and sort of a bit frustrated, Kyle Marriott would tie the game at 6-all. But but then basically rhubarb threw all their best players out on the court, which was Tyler Grove, Corey Balkin, Cale McBride, and I guess I forgot to mention him. Wayne Ducelle played in that game as well. So all four of those guys were on the court. Basically, they pressed hard, but couldn't put it in on that sequence. But then the Bulldogs would come back the other way. The ball would eventually end up in the corner, and then when Adrian Garden would make a bad pass, that would go right onto Tyler Grove's stick, and he would walk in and just fire a cannon that would absolutely fool Cameron Mansforth to make it 7-6. And then the Bulldogs would pull their goalie, but to no avail, as Cale McBride would get the empty netter to make it 8-6, which would be the final score. So we're gonna do the 3 stars of that game, and the 3rd star goes to Corey Balkin. Second star goes to Cale McBride, and the 1st star goes to Supercover. Alright, so our first playoff game is against the Blue Bandits. We swept the season series with them, but we did have to come back from a 4-2 deficit to beat them last time, so don't take them too lightly. I believe the playoff game is June 2nd, which is a Thursday at 6:30. If you have to, just come down to the rink to find out, or give them a call, or you know what? I think I'm gonna ask Super Dave to try to get all the schedules on the goalie's crease as well, so to make things a lot easier. Just saying. All right. So that's it for me, and this video is once again brought to you by rhubarb.com, the goalie's crease, and this is gonna be a special. This is gonna be something special. The last thing this video will be brought to you by is the Baraka Pita Bakery. Backup goaltender for Rhubarb Chris, Rami Abramrad, works there, and I've been there once, and he pretty much, he convinced me that there was gonna be great food from Lebanon there, and he was right. So yep, check it out. Check it out when you got the chance. It's on Main, and I think it's north of Jefferson or something like that. It's just around that area. I suggest you check it out. If you have to, just look it up on Google Maps. It's a great place, So anyways, that's it for me, and the best crisp is Rhubarb Crisp.